Welcome back to Next Act Ninjas, the number one podcast for flourishing after 50. I'm your host, Rachael Van Pelt, and today I'm going to talk about how we can keep our aging brain sharp and adaptable in this rapidly advancing world. Recently, I heard the term digital elasticity for the first time, and it caught my attention. In science, we talk about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to keep adapting and changing. But how well does your brain adapt to technological advances? That's what you might call digital elasticity. Are you able to keep up with the fast pace of innovation and the changing rules of engagement? Because that is the kind of neuroplasticity we are going to need if we want to keep flourishing over the next few decades. Technological advances are happening faster than ever before. We are seeing advances in machine learning, deep learning, large language models, quantum computing, robotics, nanotechnology, and each of those fields is growing rapidly. We've had more advances in tech in the past few decades than the entire last century. Doesn't seem possible, does it? Especially when you consider that the past century included an industrial revolution, computers, internet, Wi-Fi, mobile phones, social networks, DNA sequencing. It seems absurd to think things could move any faster, right? Until you realize that the tech advances are 10xing every 18 to 24 months. And we aren't even seeing most of the advances yet because they're happening behind closed doors. We mainly get sneak peeks anytime a company needs to generate another big round of funding. That being said, the pace at which things are about to change is going to be staggering. That's not my opinion. That's based on what expert after expert has been reporting recently. Sure, some of it is overblown hype to generate funding, but you don't have to be a tech genius to see what's happening. Many fields of technology are poised for exponential rates of change just in and of themselves. And when you see how they're starting to converge and stack and synergize, it's not hard to imagine how they are going to take off over the next 5 to 10 years, which means that the second half of this decade is going to require far more digital elasticity than any of us are prepared for. We are not going to get away with the tired excuse of, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. We are going to have to stay adaptable, or we're going to find ourselves on the outskirts of society. We'll be wallflowers looking in. In today's world, being able to pivot and adapt is not just a nice to have skill, it's a requirement. Think about it for a minute. Businesses that failed to adapt to the digital age, they struggled or even disappeared, didn't they? Think about Blockbuster. They didn't see Netflix coming, and we all know how that turned out. But it's not just businesses that become obsolete overnight. Individuals who aren't digitally elastic find themselves out of jobs every single day. The World Economic Forum predicts that AI will replace 85 million jobs by 2025. That's next year. Can you believe that? But they're also predicting that 95 million new jobs will be created. So unless you want to be out of a job completely, staying digitally elastic in today's world hinges on continuous learning, new skill development. Lifelong learning is not optional, it's a necessity. Fortunately, there are a lot of ways that we can keep learning and adapting our skills in the ever-changing landscape. The most straightforward includes taking courses on platforms like Khan Academy, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, engaging in online forums, and so forth. Now you can effortlessly stay up to date on industry trends, global news, just using AI search. But embracing change and adaptability requires a growth mindset. You have to believe your abilities and intelligence can constantly improve with a bit of hard work. Sometimes we get stuck in a fixed mindset, believing we can't change. And I think, unfortunately, the cultural belief that older adults are stuck in their ways reinforces this fixed mindset. And yet, the science of neuroplasticity reveals that our brains remain wonderfully adaptable, even into old age. Neuroplasticity is the ability for us to form new neural connections and pathways. It's what keeps us sharp and ready for anything. I think age is just a number when it comes to learning. Contrary to popular belief, you can teach an old dog new tricks. Our brains might take a little bit longer to learn new things as we age, but the fact of the matter is, with a little persistence and the right strategies, we can continue to grow and adapt. That being said, if you do find yourself feeling stuck in your ways, if you want to shift to a growth mindset, I highly recommend using a technique called cognitive reframing. We use this all the time, sometimes without knowing it. It involves changing the way you perceive and interpret a situation so that you remain empowered, not feeling helpless. For example, if you're struggling with learning a new technology, instead of thinking to yourself, I'm too old for this, reframe that to, this is a wonderful opportunity for me to exercise my brain, stay current. This simple shift in perspective reduces the stress and anxiety that hinders your learning, your adaptability. When you view challenges as opportunities for growth, you improve your ability to solve problems, you improve your resilience. And better yet, reframing activates your prefrontal cortex. It's the part of the brain that's responsible for complex cognitive behavior and decision making. Activating this area helps create those new neural pathways that we want. It makes it easier for your brain to adapt to new information, new experiences. In other words, instead of resisting change, we simply need to remember that change is an exciting opportunity for growth. But that's just a simple cognitive technique that's going to shift you from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. If you want to really keep your mind adaptable in this fast-paced world, you're going to have to experiment with some unconventional ways to stretch your mind. I'm going to throw some strategies out there, and I challenge you to experiment with one or more of them. Feel free to put your own spin on any of my suggestions and share your experience in the comments so that we can learn from each other. The goal here is to creatively flex our brains to boost our neural plasticity. One of the best ways to do this is to become adventurous. Engage in unfamiliar activities, things that are going to push you out of your comfort zone. Adventure learning, such as rock climbing, scuba diving, or even virtual reality gaming, those things can force your brain to adapt to new environments, new challenges, which is a great way to enhance your cognitive flexibility. Or you can try what we call cross-disciplinary learning. Explore a field that is vastly different from your previous experience, something completely new to you. If you're a lawyer, try learning about quantum computing. If you're a nurse, try learning about real estate investing. This is going to stimulate new neural pathways and boost your overall brain function. You can also disrupt your routine on a regular basis. That's going to keep your mind agile. You can do simple things like taking a different route to work or the grocery store. You could switch up which hand you use for your daily tasks. You could rearrange your living space. All of these things can prevent your brain from becoming too comfortable with its environment. Another great way to improve your neuroplasticity is to combine physical activity with a mental challenge. For example, you could think through a complex issue while you're hiking. You could listen to a thought-provoking podcast while you're house cleaning. You could try learning a new dance routine, learning juggling, doing a strategic sport like fencing or archery. When you blend physical and mental exercise, it enhances your cognition because you're not just activating the neurons, but you're also increasing blood flow to the brain. And the combination of those two things is wonderful. Think of it as aerobics for your brain or neurobics. Fostering social connections that keep you intellectually stimulated is another great strategy. Often, we gravitate to people who think just like us. But engaging in deep, meaningful conversations with people who hold different perspectives not only challenges your cognitive abilities, but it also keeps you open to new ideas. Likewise, collaborating with the younger generation. on a project, or you mentor them, and that's going to foster an intergenerational exchange of knowledge that's mutually beneficial, and it also is going to stimulate your cognitive growth. You could explore the arts in new ways that keep your mind sharp. Take up an art form you've never tried before. Try sculpting or digital art or contemporary dance, something you've never done. Artistic activities are wonderful for engaging different parts of the brain and encouraging creative thinking. Similarly, if you immerse yourself in a different culture through travel, learning a new language, attending a cultural festival, those things can broaden your perspective and challenge your brain in new ways. Whatever you choose, have fun with it. Just find a way that's going to stretch your brain a bit. And bonus points if you find a way to incorporate learning a new digital technology while you're at it. That way you can improve your digital elasticity. Consider diving into the basics of AI, not because you want to become a coder, but to understand the landscape better so you can adapt quicker. That's something I'm doing myself right now. I have no desire to become an expert in machine learning, but I do want to understand the difference, for example, between generative AI and large language models and AI agents. Leaders in this industry say that there are going to be more AI agents than there are people in the world. Amazing. And it sounds a bit crazy until you realize there are already more mobile phones in the world than there are people today. If there's going to be more than 8 billion AI agents in the not so distant future, I think we might want to know a bit about this technology, don't you? These agents will be highly specialized and they're going to be able to work 24/7 in a variety of areas. When you combine that with robotics, they're going to have even more amazing capabilities. Shoot, they may even be taking care of us in our old age. Now, maybe you think I'm just going to watch and wait. That's certainly been the path for generations that have come before us. Older adults do consistently adopt new technologies at a lower rate compared to younger adults. Unfortunately, this is what creates a digital divide between generations. It contributes to the ageism that we see in the workplace. I believe we need to think like early adopters, even if we haven't been early adopters previously. Being willing to learn and adopt new technology is going to help us bridge this generational divide, while simultaneously helping us stay digitally elastic and mentally sharp. The bottom line, things are already moving incredibly fast, and they're about to move even faster. They're going to take off exponentially. We can sit by and watch it happen, or we can catch the wave and let her rip. Let's keep fostering a growth mindset. Let's keep stretching our minds to boost our neuroplasticity, improve our cognitive health. Let's not be afraid to adopt the latest technology. These are the things that are going to keep us moving and shaking throughout our next act. That's all I have for today. Thanks for joining me on Next Act Ninjas. Be sure to let me know in the comments how you are stepping out of your comfort zone, how you're flexing your mind to stay adaptable. And subscribe and share this podcast with others in your tribe who are looking to make their next act their best act. Until next time, live well, love more, age less, my friends.